This is the Rising Tide Startups podcast, where we chat with startup founders from all over the globe to help you escape the cubicle and begin your own startup journey. Make sure you take notes. Every episode of Rising Tide Startups is sponsored by Podbrand Media. Let Podbrand create and host your company branded podcast. Learn more at podbrandmedia.com. This is the Rising Tide podcast. My name is Kevin Pruitt, and it's my honor to do this. I've done this since 2018, and we've had some great guests on. And man, I am excited about the guests we have today. We've already spoken like 3 different languages together, so he is a lot more well-versed at those languages than I am. But hey, I did my best. But man, I want to welcome Bilal Ararou to the podcast. Bilal, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin, for inviting me. And man, I was surprised that you can speak Arabic. I know it's very, very hard, especially for you. So you are great. So thank you for having me, man, here.
Well, if we had talked for more than 15 seconds, you would have understood that I ran out of words. But no, it is a pleasure. It's a joy to bring you on. But man, give us a little bit of a background on Bilal. If you and I met at a networking event, how would you introduce yourself to me?
Okay, so my name is Bilal. I'm the founder of Nuelink, a social media scheduling and automation tool. I live in Morocco in a small town called Tétouan in the north. And I started as a web designer in 2009 as a freelance web designer. I work with the many clients from Australia, Middle East, Europe, and the US, building products and designing products. Then I transitioned to an agency. I built my own agency in 2016, where we started to build products for bigger clients this time, and we also worked with bigger one. Our products were used by clients like JP Morgan and Zurich. Mm-hmm. And then we started Nuelink basically in 2022. It was just a basic experiment, and it ended up hitting 10,000 customers in the launch. Just like I was from someone who don't know, don't have an audience, don't know anything about building a product. Never launched one. It was a big surprise, and here we are, with Nuelink.
So, describe Nuelink. You kind of brushed by that real quick. So, if you were calling me and it's like a sales call, and you're telling me about Nuelink and the benefits of Nuelink, give our audience a little bit of a background on the company and maybe how it started.
Okay. So basically, Nuelink started initially. Let me give you. I will go back a little bit to the reason why we started Nuelink. Initially, when we started our agency, we always tried to hire good talent, but we didn't have any social media presence on social media, and it was a problem. Each time we tried to post about we want to hire new people, no one applied, or the ones who applied didn't really have the right skills. And that was mainly because we didn't have any social media presence. So we started to use different tools to address that, but we always get too busy and forget about social media. Then we built a small automation tool that simply grab articles from different sources and share them with our audience. We ended up quickly hitting 1K followers on our agency page. And I was this could be a product. So I set up a sales page, and then quickly in a couple of months, we have 300 people on our waitlist. And when we launched, we immediately started to grab a lot of attention. So, and this tool became Nuelink. So Nuelink is a social media scheduling and automation app. It helps you manage all your social media from one place. And what makes it different is the automation. Automation, where we built different automations for different verticals. Let's say for podcasters, you can simply give us the link of your podcast, and we will grab all the podcasts you have and share them automatically on social media on repeat. And whenever there is a new podcast, it will automatically be shared as a priority on you on social media. Yeah. We did the same thing for e-commerce, for reviews, for small businesses like Google reviews, etc. And this is what makes it different from the competition. Yeah.
So if I got a new Google review, would it automatically recognize that and then share that on my social media, like on LinkedIn or something?
Yes, it will automatically, like immediately recognize that. And then not only that, it will write a caption for it using AI, using your own tone of voice, and will design an image for that review. Like it will design an image for you using your own brand colors and everything, and
Wow,
share it on social media.
man, that's amazing. So you said, did I hear the 100, 10,000, 100? What was the number again you used?
Yeah, it's we launched and we got like 10,000 customers like in the first few months from the launch. And keeping in mind that I didn't have any audience back then. We were only focused on building tools for our clients, so we didn't have any like base around that time.
So
And
tell me
during
how that
yeah,
happened. How did you
yeah,
didn't have, you had no following, you had no email
yeah,
list, you had, so how did
that's
10,000
crazy.
people find you in
So
Tetuan?
initially, yes, crazy. No, even since I live in Tetuan, but I always think of myself as a global citizen, so
Yeah, for
I
sure.
try to
Yeah.
not limit myself
Yeah.
to Tetuan or Morocco or
Yeah, I was teasing
Africa.
about the
And
Tetuan thing. Yeah.
so what we did is initially, as I mentioned, I built an email list. Like we started to promote Nuelink before it was launched on
hmm
different places like Reddit, etc. And then
hmm
we got the first 300 customers, which become our beta testers.
hmm
These beta testers always like love the automation part. So I was like, okay, this is good. So when we received that kind of feedback, we immediately switch our focus to building as many automations as possible for different verticals. When we did that, we got reached out by someone from a platform called PitchGround. This platform, they have like a base of many customers, and they wanted to help us like partner up with us to launch this tool. Usually, the tools like this grab get like 100, 200 customers, maybe 500 customers. That's like the normal. So we said, okay, when we were working, we worked on our agency offering. So that was the agency offering, and we launched a few months after. Like let's say the beta launch was on July, and then the official launch was around September. When we launched that, initially like people started to sign up, and but we didn't get in like nothing major, like a few 10, 20 customers a day started to sign up. And in our offering, like after just a few weeks, people started to like talk about it in many communities of this. Basically, we're on a lifetime deal. Like you can buy New Link for one fee for a lifetime.
hmm
And in our offering, we have up to $1,000 offering, which was just for me. Just I didn't think anyone would be paying $1,000
hmm
for a newcomer that's from a founder who no one's know. So it was just an experiment. And then one week on the Black Friday week, things started to kick off. Like things went crazy. I was traveling back then with my wife to south of Spain,
hmm
and I wasn't doing anything like working or anything. In those days, like we were getting like $10,000 a day from signups that week, that week
Wow.
alone. Yeah, a few weeks after we hit 10,000 customers, and the launch did around like $137,000 in that particular period.
So how, number one, tell me that site again. I wrote down Pitch Ground, but was that right?
Yes,
Is that the name
yes,
of it?
yes,
And
yes.
is
Pitch
that like
ground.
a fee base, like you pay a certain amount to go on it, or they get a percentage of,
Yeah,
what's raised, or how does that work? I've never heard of
basically
pitching.
basically what it's a community of many people who try new software on a lifetime deal access. Like instead of buying like subscription month over month, you give like a one-time deal using that platform, and their community will start buying your product. And they have like this community. I didn't know how big this community was, but the lifetime deal community is big. Like there are so many groups on Facebook, Reddit,
hmm
etc. And they, whenever there is a new like good product, uh, they it can easily like start getting a lot of sales. But if it's a bad product, it will be trash forever. Like
Mm.
it will die. So this is how, and they take a fee from the sales, from all the sales they generate. That's how
So it
they
goes through
generally
their
work.
site to you back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually, I mean, that's like a no risk thing for you too. It's not like you
Exactly.
spent
Yeah.
$10,000 and then crickets, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's so good.
Yeah.
I I mean, you like put it up there and it just exploded. So, what has been your experience as far as churn is concerned? I mean, you got so many people coming in the front door. Do people tend to stay? Is the retention? I would think the retention would be pretty high
Yeah.
percentage.
So after this period, we started to focus on growing our monthly recurring revenue. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, initially the churn was high because the product was still a new product,
Yeah.
just a few months
Yeah.
after. So
Working out all the
it was
bugs. Yeah.
exactly. So
Mhm.
the churn was high, was around like 15 to 18% every month. Then we started tweaking based on the feedback improvements we got,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And actually, this community was super helpful. The initial base, we have like 500 reviews on different platforms, which also added the trust to our product. So people started trusting us because of these reviews. And then we
Right.
started to work out the bugs and everything. Currently, we are doing really good in terms of churn. We only have like 7 to 9%. So
That's amazing. I mean,
yeah,
you're
that's
single
yeah,
digits. I mean, because
yeah,
I would imagine people coming in the front door is a higher percentage than they're going out the back door. And as long as that's positive, that's a good
yeah,
start.
yeah. We
That's a
did a
good
really
start.
good job actually on that part because we been like listening to the customers like our basically we manage our customers support very well because everyone has access to it and we can take actions very quickly when there is a
Hmm.
bug and when there is something that needs to be improved. That's
Yeah.
like the biggest let's say positive points about how we do things. So the customer has always a priority and we
Hmm.
improved based on that feedback until now. And currently Nuelink is growing like around 10 to 20% month over month.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
the churn rate is very like between 7 and 9%, which is very good in our cases. Not counting that many of that churn actually reactivate their account a few months later.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. They're not gone forever. So
exactly. Yeah,
now that's it's really interesting. As you were talking, there were two thoughts that came to my mind. One of them was a question that I actually asked on an interview yesterday, that comes up so often. How often is the product that you build because you had a need for it yourself? You were scratching your own itch,
yeah,
so to speak. So when you first started this, it was just for internal use, right? I mean, you just said
yeah,
we got to have something that works for us because you were wanting to build something else, and then it's like the solution took over the
yeah,
the company, type thing. So
yeah.
is that kind of the journey that happened here?
Exactly. Initially, like I mentioned, we didn't have any social media presence, and we like as most of the web development software agencies, most of them like don't like social media in general. Like they just want to do their work and focus on their
Mm,
own day-to-day stuff. And
it's
that's
funny.
what was happening to us. Whenever we start hiring, we know that we have a problem because the competition was getting fiercer here, especially the competition for new talent. And whenever we share something, no one actually applied. And that was a big problem for us because we wanted to grow faster than the rate that we were doing.
Hmm.
So that's how it started. That's what I was like, and we tried everything. Like we hired someone to manage our social media. They didn't do well. We
Yep.
used different tools. They didn't work. We tried to link like Zapier with
Hmm.
Buffer and spreadsheet, but they break
Hmm.
always. I
Hmm.
was like, okay, maybe we should do this. We should build something for our own internal use. That's
Hmm.
how it started. Like, okay, let's grab this RSS feed, start sharing some articles about web design, development, user experience with our audience in LinkedIn, on LinkedIn mainly, network. So that's how I was like, okay, let's create a landing page and see if people will sign up for something like this. And I did that. I created a landing page before we start building the actual
Yep.
product.
Yep.
I just like wrote the benefits the features that we plan to launch, and then started to share the landing page on Reddit, on Facebook groups, on Twitter. Of course, I got blocked on multiple communities for
That's
doing
right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're
but
spamming us. You're
yeah, but
selling stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
but at the same time, we got some positive feedback, and we have like more than 300 people sign up for the waiting list. I was like, okay, maybe it's time to do something
mhm.
here. So we started working on the products, and it took off. Like the first week we launched, someone paid us before we even like we were just testing the paid plans, and someone was already like, okay, let me pay them, and I was okay. That's nice. Maybe there is something we are doing.
It's when did you come to the realization that said, actually, Nuelink is my company, not the agency that I was trying to build? Was there just like these two lines that were going like this, and when Nuelink, was making more money than your agency, you thought, I'm going to shut the agency down, or is it still going?
Yeah, no, actually, the agency is still going. We are still in the agency. We work mainly with fewer clients, but with the long-term projects, similar
Hmm.
SaaS projects. So it's
Hmm.
still working, doing and working as it was. But we have a different team now for Neolink that works on the day-to-day stuff. And basically, at the time, agency was becoming like a little bit boring. So I wanted to challenge myself. Okay, we are building all these products for different clients, so maybe we can do something for our own self. And initially, we did start with like building some ideas that didn't go well, mainly because we didn't have that need ourselves. But for Nunik, it was different. We were basically building something that we actually need on
Hmm.
ourselves. Then we offered it to other people, and then started to say, okay, we should do this. Maybe we need to include some agency offerings, etc. A few months ago, I was like, okay, Nunik is becoming bigger, maybe way bigger than the agency, because we started to get some investment opportunities from the Middle East,
Hmm.
from Morocco, from the US. I was like, okay, this is going somewhere, and maybe we should. It's time to take this way more seriously.
Hmm.
That's when we started like, okay, let's trademark the name and everything to make sure we are secure. So yeah, just a few months ago is when I realized that maybe Neolink is becoming bigger than the agency and with bigger potential.
And that is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those. It's rare for me, and on all the people that I've talked to that have had, similar stories. It is so rare for something to take off when there wasn't already some form of a base, to build
yeah,
on. I mean, this was really like viral. This was spontaneous
yeah,
combustion. This is like I didn't know I had fuel there. I didn't know I had, some
yeah,
dry wood that somebody was going to throw a spark into. So, um, but it sounds like to me though that you leveraged you saw opportunities and you leveraged opportunities, and you kind of like the old idea of building the plane in the sky.
yeah,
You were built you were selling it and building it at the same time. You were selling
yeah,
a future, state
exactly.
of where it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
That's a very good point, actually. And this is the main mistakes that a few of other ideas that we built before failed. Initially, like we didn't have a real need for that particular idea, and
Hmm.
we were building the product before validating if someone will pay for it,
Hmm.
actually. So we spent a lot of time and money, like monthly, let's say 6 months, building something, and then when we either run out of money,
Hmm.
or we let's say no one really care about that particular product. So people like don't really have that need. But with Nunik, it was the opposite. We actually like built a small tool over like the weekend or something. Just one morning, we built the tool for our
Hmm.
own use,
Hmm.
and then created the landing page before we had anything, like just a landing page with one button, sign up or request invite or something like that,
Hmm.
or sign up for the waitlist, add your email. That's it. That's was it. And I was telling before building, I was like, okay, we just need 100 people to sign up for this, then we will start building. When that happened, I was like, okay, let's start working on this and taking it seriously. So, and we know we can achieve that. So we went like very fast in a few months, 3 or 4 months. We were already with an MVP and started inviting people to try it out. That was
Hmm.
like the
No, that's
the,
crazy.
the, the idea.
That is awesome. That I just love that the trajectory, and it's such a unique trajectory based on what we normally see,
Yeah.
in this space. I mean, normally people are like, I'm selling to my community, type thing versus, or I'm selling to a base that existed. But I have a theory about the difference between an entrepreneur and somebody that just is like running a business. And I would be curious to I want you to go back in time and think of, the times that you were in school, you were growing up. Were you always hustling? Were you always like trying to sell stuff? And I mean, was that DNA, that entrepreneurial DNA in you early?
Yeah, you actually, I agree. When back when I was a kid, we actually we were a poor family. Like it was me, the bigger brother, and four of my siblings.
Mm.
And I was always like trying to make money. My mom used to say to me like, "We don't have much, but we don't need much." See, and this mindset always like I didn't make me feel like okay, we are poor, we don't have
Yeah.
as much as the neighbors, etc. But I was like, okay, since mom says that, maybe I can. This means that I can easily make money. So I was always like buying some like small balls, like the balls and some games
Yeah,
for
like
this season
marbles or
that are
something.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly
Hmm.
buying marbles when they
Hmm.
run out of season, and then saving them, and then the next year when they come back to season, selling them like half the price of the stores. And I was doing like then making some money, and then I bought a Game Boy, the Game Boy, Nintendo Game Boy.
Yep.
Yeah, I bought that, and no one had it in the area, so I was renting it for them by the hour. So always like trying to make stuff like that. Then I become like making more business. I was like, okay, now I can. I started to fix the TVs from the neighbors, and the neighbors weren't paying me. I was like, okay, maybe I learned the lesson that I shouldn't be shy when doing business, even if they are our neighbors. So always like doing stuff like small stuff like that. That transition to me being okay. I think I can. This is what I will be doing. I always, of course, had like some passion for technology, like Nintendo,
Yep.
like PlayStation. I did the same thing for PlayStation. I was the first one who brought it to the area, and I was renting to the to the neighbors' kids, etc. So I was always okay. These kids have money, and I don't have money. So how can I do? Make trying to convince them to give me their money. So I was always coming up with some schemes when I was a kid.
You are absolutely the poster child for my theory. You are the the prototypical, yeah, you're the person I had in mind when I thought about this. So yeah, this is hilarious. Well, man, we're gonna take a quick break from our sponsors here, but when we get back, I'm gonna drill down a little bit more on some lessons learned here. So taking a quick break. And now here's a quick word from one of our new sponsors on Rising Tide Startups. At Navicus, we know you spend far too much time on administrative tasks. Let us take those off your plate so you can focus on the highest value activities in your business. We have highly trained, highly vetted specialists ready to take on those administrative responsibilities at an affordable and effective rate. Check us out at navicus.com, proud sponsor of Rising Tide Startups podcast. We are back, and we're about to land the plane here in Tetuan, Morocco. But Bilal, thank you so much for just having to chat with us today. I don't know that I have had a time where I've laughed, and I've never clapped, on an interview in 300 interviews. So, and yeah, it's a new first for it's a first for two or three things, but um, it's interesting. It's one thing to be a hustler on your own. It's a whole other thing to start leading a team, leading a company, being a CEO, being a founder, co-founder, chief something in the company. So what are one or two, would you say crucial lessons that you've learned in leading a team that you think somebody that's maybe sitting in a cubicle that has an idea and they're going to start building something and it's going to grow a little bit and they'll build a team, but would be helpful to them, as they're trying to get something started?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, building a team is one of the biggest or like the hardest bottlenecks that we overcome as an agency. Like
Hmm.
initially, like it was really hard for us to build a team. As I mentioned, one of the reasons why Nuelink started was to help us solve this problem. Later, we had other challenges, but we managed to solve them. We have a process currently. We have a process to build teams. I will try to share it super quickly. Basically, the way we approach things is when we launch like a job offer for a new team member to come. I don't care about the resume. I don't care where these team members studied or anything. What I care most about is, can you do stuff? Can you build? Can you
Mm.
design? Can you
Wow.
do the marketing? So what we do is super simple. Like, here is the job description. Give us some example of your work. That's all we ask for. Once they send us this example of their work, what we do is we verify those examples for the team members that have potential. We send them a simple test project. This test project will be basically a simpler example of the day-to-day job that they will be
Yeah.
performing with
Yeah.
us. But it shouldn't take more than 2-3 hours.
Hmm.
If it's something very complex that it will take more, we will probably pay
Probably
them
not a
massive.
good
But
fit. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, we
Hmm.
only make it like a simpler version of what they will be doing day
Hmm.
to day and send it to them. Then once many of them, like we have good percentage, don't send us back anything, which is basically a pre-qualification for us.
Oh
So
yeah.
they disqualify themselves. We don't
Yeah.
want to work with them anyway.
Yeah.
So for the ones who send us that, we review them, and if it's good fit, then we call them for an interview and pick one or two,
Hmm.
depending on the positions that we have. This is like what helped us actually move faster. And this process is very good. And it's basically we achieved it through a lot of trial and error.
Man, that's a great
And yes,
idea.
yeah, that's some books that helped me with basically growing and managing a team. Is one of them is the E Myth. I
Yep.
think it's
I love that book.
every
I
entrepreneur. Yeah,
think I have that book on my wall up here somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's there. Yeah, the E Myth is great. I think every entrepreneur should read that. And the 1 minute manager, it's a little bit out of style, but I think the base,
Hmm.
the core is still
Yep.
there. So I recommend that too. And build to sell, which is
Hmm.
help you like make your business ready to be sold. You don't have to sell your business, but the processes that they talk about are great. So yeah, the building the team was one of the biggest thing that the biggest bottleneck that we managed to resolve, and what helped us like be here currently. Everything that we are now is because of them. Like every team member we have actually provide a great value for Nuelink and for the agency creating.
Hmm.
Yeah, hopefully that answered the question. But let me know if there is something I missed so we can.
No, those are great suggestions. I absolutely love them. I that is so true because I mean you've taken like snippets of different books and kind of put it together for your own plan. You don't have to
Yeah,
reinvent the wheel, so to speak, but you do have to say, okay, this is going to work in my context. This is going to work. I love the idea of having that kind of pre-qualification little mini project that you
yeah,
ask them to do. It's not onerous. I mean, it's going to take you a little while, so we want to have a
yeah,
good idea of of your work, how quickly you can do it, how well you
yeah,
do it. But it's not like you've invested days and days into something, and then we just say, no, you're not a good candidate,
exactly. Yeah,
so it's not a
yeah,
waste of time. I also
yeah,
think it probably prepares them, even if they don't get the job, it helps them to be prepared for the next
exactly. Yes.
interview or whatever that they do. But man, that is really interesting the way that you built that. And what is describe New Link now? Describe what does the team look like behind the scenes?
Yeah. So basically, currently we are 14 people. We have backend developers, of course. We have front-end developers, designers, and the support and marketing team. 14 people, which is a good size of a team currently, and everyone is doing a really good job in what they do. Like I'm mainly like responsible for the general direction of New Link and for expanding it more. like especially like the general direction. But every one of the team members are doing a really amazing job on their own on that part. Nuelink currently is in a really good place. We are almost 10K MRR in terms of revenue, and we are growing, as I mentioned, 10 to 20% month over month, and we've been able to sustain this for more than 10 months now, which is really good. I think we finally figure out like the formula for our marketing.
The
so
sweet
we are
spot.
Just, exactly. So I'm just going forward, tweaking it more. And the plan for Nuelink currently is to expand horizontally. So since we already have a good user base, we have 24,000 customers, mostly creators, businesses, and agencies with us. So we are still improving a few things for the platforms, currently working on the second version of Nuelink 2.0, which will help us basically reach the next point, which is 100,000 customers, 2 million, and will help us post more than 100,000 posts per day. The plan for what we plan from now on is to expand horizontally. Basically, what we will do is build different tools that address the same user base, like linking
complementary things.
Exactly. So basically, since we identified that many of our users were asking for some features or some that could work more like an entire product instead of a feature inside Nuelink. That's why we are planning to do this. So basically what we will do is expand horizontally by providing solutions that for the same customers, but different tools. And we will do them like, we'll launch them the same way we launched Nuelink with a pre-launch landing page with all the features that we have. And the customers will be the ones who actually suggest features to us to build.
Yeah. That, I mean, it's kind of that whole lean cycle, that you build it, you get feedback, you iterate, you kind of rinse and repeat. So, man, that's such a good story, and just Mabruk Habibi on what you're building. I mean, congratulations, and it really is an exciting story to hear, and just that the hockey stick growth that you're seeing, moving forward. And I really like the idea that you're planning for the future and kind of building complementary things to your existing base instead of having to continually, find new customers. You're just kind of expanding your own and bringing new ones in at the same time. So, and it's a great story, and I'm excited. We'll have to connect in a couple of years and see what the 2.0 version looks like, or a year and a half or whenever it's launched. But Bilal, thank you so much just for sharing the story today of Nuelink, and it has been a real pleasure to connect with you and to meet you, virtually and hear your story, and just, you've made my day. You've made my weekend. Just brought a bright spot to my day. And just once again, just thank you for just playing your part in helping all boats rise in a rising tide. Bilal, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for having me, and thank you for the amazing energy and shukran in Arabic. And I really appreciate you for listening and for the follow-up question. And for sure, we'll definitely connect in maybe a year or so, when the 2.0 version is ready. And by then, I think we'll probably have like 2 or 3 siblings of Nuelink already live. It will be like some newer stories.
Well, Afwan, Alamak, bon weekend.
Thank you.
I hope you heard some great takeaways from our guests today. Make sure you reach out to them, and thank you again for playing your part in helping all boats rise in a rising tide.